points. Let me go across to my colleague Vivek, who joins us with some upgrades that have come in for the power sector.
Well, that's right. Up till now, if you're talking about the power sector, especially in India, the entire scene was that power supply was something that was in an oversupply zone, demand was not very robust, and the other things that was plaguing the sector quite significantly was the poor health of the distribution companies, that is the DISCOMs, which was proving to be a very big problematic NPA mess as far as most of the PSU banks were concerned. However, after the initiation of the Modi government 2014 onwards, what has actually happened is that, and CLSA today has come out with a significantly large note that has gone ahead and highlighted each of these initiatives that this government has taken. Number one, the aim of the government, especially the PM, has been very clear. He wants to light up every household in India. He wants to ensure that the sector is viable for most of the IPPs, that is the independent power producers, and also wants to lift the investor confidence given the fact that most of these companies are PSU names. The other thing is, of course, he wants to go ahead and ensure that the DISCOMs which are debt ridden get out of the debt mess, and therefore they could become even more profitable going forward. And in this regard, if you're talking about how DISCOMs have performed, they've actually gone ahead and reduced their losses by almost 70% over the last 3 years. Now, the other thing, what CLSA is saying is that they actually expect most of these DISCOMs to go ahead and break even by FY21. Now, the other thing that you're looking at this point of time is that the government took a 3-step program to go ahead and revive the DISCOMs, as you can see. Number one, they took a 75% debt reduction plan to take out most of the legacy costs that most of these companies were suffering from. The other thing is operating costs, which were proving to be a bit of a hurdle. And the other thing, of course, there was a lot of stealing of electricity that was happening. This too has been curbed. So again, the other thing that has happened is that improved revenues have been seen for most of these DISCOMs via the fact that smart metering systems have been put in, and also infrastructure has been scaled up quite significantly. The other thing, of course, you need to look an eye out for, and this is going forward, the demand versus the supply situation. From what was essential an oversupply to an under demand, now CLSA sees that the tide is turning, and you will actually see a vice versa situation that may happen at this point of time. So what CLSA is saying is that India's power requirement may actually double over the next decade. They believe that the 24/7 power push is something that may go quite significantly higher. Industrial demand pickup is seen, and also given the fact that this is an election year, you may see power supply and power demand peaking ahead of the elections. The other thing, of course, that you're looking at this point of time is that the government's focus on the independent power producers, especially names like NTPC and CESC, is quite significant. They believe that improved utilization trends are going to be seen. They believe that PLFs, the plant load factors, is something that will improve, and their top picks are both NTPC as well as CESC. So, and just ahead of this particular note, we have a very significant management, and that is the management of CESC that will be speaking exclusively to ET now.
Okay, Vivek, we'll leave it at that, and let's welcome on board Sanjiv Goenka, Chairman CESC, who better than him to answer all the questions related to the power sector, and of course CESC in particular as well. Mr. Goenka, pleasure having you, and firstly congratulations on winning the Malegaon circle in the recent auction conducted by Maharashtra Discom. Walk us through the contours of the order win.
Maharashtra, according to us, is a very attractive state for distribution of power. We believe there are two important facets for any state to have an important distribution or successful distribution network. One is the desire to have tariff reform, and Maharashtra has done that. And two is the ability to desire to deal with theft. So I think both these issues Maharashtra has demonstrated very strong will. And so we believe Maharashtra becomes an attractive potential destination. You have several successful private franchises or licensees there. And Malegaon appeared to us to be attractive. It's got 83% industrial load, and that's why we bid, and we're happy that we won. And the fact that the T&D losses are close to 45%, as is stated, demonstrates that there is a potential to bring it down and improve the operation significantly.
Right. So is the majority of energy supply to industrial, commercial customers, and are gross margins higher in this segment?
Yeah, 85 to 87% of the supply is to industry and commercial. And that is what makes it a little more attractive. But of course you have social issues in that region, and as we've discovered in our venture in distributing power in Rajasthan and earlier in Noida, that each zone, each area has its own issues, and they have to be dealt with in a very local manner, with being sympathetic towards local considerations and local issues.
Right, we understand Malegaon Circle is equal to CESC's quota distribution franchisee circle in terms of input energy. Will gross margins be higher than quota? And what about the AT&C losses?
You know, the ATC losses, as I said, are at 45% as it stands. They'll have to be progressively brought down. So with investments in hard capex and soft technology and issues in terms of dealing with power theft and all that. So I think it's something that we've just about won. We had evaluated it, but now we have to get in there. And I think the process of handover is going to take about 4 months. So in that process, we have to equip ourselves with a very specific action plan, which is what we are doing right now.
Right, you also have 3 distribution circles in Rajasthan. Give us more details on these circles.
Well, our philosophy is that distribution going forward will be a good part of the power business to be in, and that's why we are expanding aggressively in distribution. So we've won the distribution bids for Kota, Bharatpur and Bikaner. And one of the 3 has already turned profitable, and we hope in the next 12 months the other 2 will also turn profitable in Rajasthan. There have been issues. Beginning with language, but we are learning to deal with each one of these, and I think we are coming out on top. So it's slightly delayed from where we had anticipated, but I think we are getting there.
Yeah. Right. So what exactly, Mr. Goenka, is the profit sharing agreement in the new circles that you won, and what is the arrangement on reduction of AT&C losses for the distribution franchise?
Got a target for reduction of AT&C losses, and we do believe that it's something that can be delivered, and that is what we're going to work towards.
Right. Let's talk about the retail business then, because organized retail is expected to grow from the $60 billion mark in the US in FY16 to about $180 billion in FY20. What role do you think, or rather, how do you think Spencer's can participate in the backdrop of the intense disruption which one is seeing in this space?
Well, Spencer's took a long time in actually getting all the actions correctly. And the first 6 months we were at close to a PBT break-even. We expect pretty much to be either almost at PBT break-even or just a very minor token kind of a loss for the year ended. Our next wave of expansion will be confined to the 3 states that we dominate: West Bengal, Andhra and Eastern Uttar Pradesh. And we will take up properties more aggressively in these states because there is no additional cost for us. There is no additional advertising for us. There is no additional awareness that needs to be created. There is no additional back-end cost that we need to incur. So every penny of contribution will go to the bottom line. And that is the strategy going forward. You will see an aggressive but calibrated phase of growth for Spencer's. And each year on year, you will see significant additions to square footage.
Right. What is the update on the stake sale here to Alibaba? Are you in talks for the same, and when can it materialize?
Spencer's is almost close to a break-even, and I think we should be there very shortly. I mean, at a PBT level, which is the bottom line. So. I mean, the first 6 months were break-even, and so we are almost there. I think maybe another quarter, and another 4 or 5 months, and we are definitely there. And frankly, I mean, a lot of speculation on Spencer's, Please allow me not to comment on speculation.
Okay, we'll allow you that. But, that's the nature of the job. We have to ask you the questions which are doing the rounds in news circles. Meanwhile, Mr. Goenka, what is the outlook for the FMCG business? The two Yum brands have seen good traction.
The ambitions are huge. 10,000 crores in 5 to 6 years. But for now, it is actually to get to a break-even on 2Yum, which I think in the next 15 months we should be able to get to. That is the thing. We will launch more products. We will be aggressive. Between our two brands, 2Yum and Evita, we have 4,30,000 distribution outlets, which is quite fast, considering that we've been in the trade just for about 18 months. And I think second quarter next year is when we expect to break even on 2Yum. So that again would be fairly good by our estimation. And that's what we are moving towards. Products are doing well. We are having month-on-month growth. Consumers are liking our products and consuming them. And that's the best proof for us.
Philips Carbon Black, what's the outlook there and how operations are panning out across the carbon black industry?
Well, I think the carbon black industry has gone through a good period the last 12 months. Philips Carbon itself had done a lot of reinvention in terms of costs, logistics, sourcing, and product mix. So increasingly more and more of our product is becoming specialized blacks, and where margins are higher. Our costs have gone down because of better yields, better sourcing of raw material, better logistics, just-in-time supplies, having great long-term relationships with key accounts like MRF, CEAT, Apollo, JK in India, several accounts overseas, actually servicing them to their complete satisfaction. The company is a different company compared to what it was. So I think the company is doing well. Profits have been higher than they've ever been. We've just finished commissioning our new plant at Mundra. By the second quarter of this year, we hope to finish commissioning another capacity addition at Palej, which is again in Gujarat. And we hope to begin work on our plant in South India in the next 2 quarters, I'd imagine.
Okay, great to have you, Mr. Goenka, on the show. Thanks much for taking the time out and chatting with us.